Hello, this is Felicia Moore, your host for Realty Resources and Realities. Today is part two of our spring cleaning for a successful sale 10 must do tips for home sellers. Well, hello, everyone. This is part two of spring cleaning for a successful sale. I'm your host, Felicia Moore. I'm asking you, as I always do when we start off, to please hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. It helps us. It supports the show. Share it with someone who you may know who is trying to sell their home. You want to get part one, and then there's part two, and subscribe. Hit that with all your notification bells so you won't miss an episode. And if you would like, we want to be your resource here in the community at Exit Realty West Midtown. I go around, I will do community events for you, whether it's just a few of your friends that you want to get together or if it's a whole group of people. There is so much information you need, the realities part, to keep your property protected and to make sure your single biggest investment is good. So please reach out to me at Ask Felicia at exitwestmidtown.com or text Ask Felicia to 85377. You may even have a good show idea or you just may have a question. I answer questions. It doesn't cost you to ask and I don't charge you to answer. So please make sure you're using this resource as your resource for real estate information. So now let's get to where we are. Number 6. We talked about the interior things that you needed to do. And I'm sure if you've done all of those, you're probably, exhausted by now. But there's still a few more things that you need to do. And this time it's on the outside. We want to enhance the curb appeal. You know how it is when you drive down the street and you see that house. It looks cute and whatever. If you want to invest and you want to get the most out of your investment, you're going to make for the best curb appeal. Now, I understand that there are some of you on the spectrum where, look, I'm not doing anything. I'm not lifting a finger. I'm not putting anything into this house, and that's fine. Sell it as is. But even if you're selling it as is, consider some of these things as things you might want to do. Why? Because if you do them, you'll get more from your investment. So the curb appeal. Very simply, clean up the yard. Don't have trash spewed all across the lawn. Make sure you pick up the trash. And make sure you use your lawnmower and cut it or hire the little boy from down the street or your neighbor or a landscaping company. But we want you to make sure that you clean the property. It's important because who wants to drive up to a house that I'm supposed to show as a realtor to my client and the grass is tall and it looks like no one lives there? We want to do that. That is a small thing you can do. If you have bushes or trees, make sure they're trimmed and they're neat. Hiring a company, doing it yourself, whatever. You don't want them out of control and you don't want trash all down underneath them. And believe me, I've cleaned some out of control bushes before. And I can tell you, there's a lot of debris under there. And you want to either rent a power washer, get a friend who has it, but you want to get the driveways wiped down, your garage doors, your porches, your patios. Those are small things that you can do for a little bit of money or no money at all almost to be able to make sure that you are presenting the property in a good light. That is tip number 6. We'll be right back with tip number 7 through 10 right after this. All right, tip number 7. Let's get to it. Washing those windows. Yeah, nobody likes to wash windows, but it's important because you want to get good sunlight in the house. It's something about good sunlight coming in the window that makes a room look spacious, inviting, and warm. So the only way you're going to do it, I know it was you thought you got enough sun, but we want you to clean them on the inside and the outside so that people can really enjoy the views out the windows and the sunlight coming in the window. Also, you want to make sure that those windows work. And that's what I mean. Even if you live there, you should make sure for safety reasons, but make sure you can easily open them and you can easily close them, that the hardware to lock them, however it is, particularly if it's an older home, make sure that that works. And it's important because people will want to open the windows and make sure the paint isn't stuck or it's painted together and it's painted shut. Safety hazard, more work for them to do. So make sure you check that out on your windows. Make sure you can open every one. Number 8, refresh and clean the front door. So you maybe get away with cleaning it and refreshing it. But that front door, that main entrance is extremely important. You want to make sure it looks good from the curb and when the person comes to the door because they're going to be welcoming their guests or they're going to be selling it to someone or renting it to someone that is going to want a good impression at that front door. That could be as little as wiping it down, making sure the baseboards are clean. You might have to change out the hardware if it's all rusted or half working or squeaky. Those are things you might want to consider. However, repainting it is another thing that you can do. And you might want to just go buy a new door. And I tell people all the time, there are plenty of places out here, nonprofits and others, who get good doors, windows, cabinets, all these kinds of things from properties that are being demolished that you can buy at a lower cost than a new one, and they look wonderful. So if you need to replace it, do that. If you have a dog, and I talked about this in the last one, that scratches at the door, the base of the door, and they have their nail marks all in it, that is something that you may want to go ahead and replace that board so that it looks nice as well. And then the final tip for that is to get a nice welcoming mat at the front door so that it just looks like it's somewhere that you want to go. Make sure the doorbell's working. Some people, they got 4 or 5 different doorbells. See if you can get a good doorbell in there. Make sure that works as well. Number 9, inspect and clean the roof and gutters. Now, this one is one that you probably may not want to do yourself, or there may be someone in your home that can do it because there are safety issues with getting up on a ladder and getting on a roof. So you might want to hire a company. I know I had a gentleman who I believe, I can't reach him now, who's retired, I've got to find someone else because at least once a year, I want someone to go up on my roof, remove all that pine straw and extra leaves that have accumulated in the corners because I want to preserve my roof. And it just is better curb appeal. And I want someone to make sure they're walking around up there and checking and making sure that I don't have any clogged gutters, etc. So someone blowing that stuff off, checking the gutters on a yearly basis. But you need to do that because you're trying to sell your home. You want to make sure that debris is removed. You want to make sure that any loose shingles are fixed. You don't want someone looking up there and seeing that something's missing, and that opens up a whole nother question about the viability of the roof. And you want to make sure those gutters are clear so that the water can move through, and that the outside of the gutters are pressure washed and clean so they don't look like a bunch of mud is just coming out of them. You just want to do those things and make sure you pay that close, special attention to it. And then there's one other thing that we need to do, and that is prepare for showing. I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about that because I want to make sure you've done all these other things because it'll help you prepare for showing. Hold on, we'll be right back. Okay, number 10, it is important to prepare for the showings. But one of the things that's great is I know you're going to use a competent realtor like myself and or others who will help walk you through this stage. But you might be selling your home on your own. If not, even so, you've got to make sure that we prepare for showings. And so that means staging the home, both inside and out. When they walk up, they want to see cut grass. Maybe you might want to plant some flowers or just get containers with flowers in it. You want to make it a welcoming environment, all the way up to the doormat and that nice fresh door that they're going to enter into. When they enter into the home, they want to see sunlight. They want to see freshness. They want to see decluttered spaces where they can imagine their couch being here or their dining room table being there. You want to leave a nice canvas for them to express how they would like to live there, or if they're an investor, how they can fix it, get it to a point that they can either lease it or sell it to someone else. So we want fresh flowers, we want pleasant scents, we want soft lighting, sunshine where necessary. We want to create an environment that's an inviting atmosphere. That's why part 1 is important as well. Going back to part 1, talking about depersonalizing, decluttering, and the things that you want to do on the inside of the house to make sure their experience is that as well. So those are the top 10 things, the must-do tips for home sellers for this spring. Now, you may not be ready to do it this month. You may be looking down the line to sell your home, but I tell you, these tips are things that you need to do before you even get started. So if you're not ready to do it this month, now's the time to start because it takes some time to get things decluttered and moved around, along with all of the other things that you are probably going to be doing just to keep, things going. You need the time to get this done because it takes time or it takes money to bring people in. But I guarantee you, if you focus on all of these, whether you're selling as is or whether you're selling it not as is, it's going to help you get the maximum return. You've put your money in this house. You've built the equity. You should be able to get the best offers that you can get for the home. And let's do that by doing some of these minor things to get maximum returns. Thank you for showing up. This is Felicia Moore. Please continue to watch us on Exit Realty West Midtown's Realty Resources and Realities. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you at the next show.